Our next speaker name is Agata Fraszczak, Product Manager at Data Products at OLX Group. And her presentation is called Fast Iteration and Quick Ideas Validation in the Machine Learning World. In her talk, she will share with you why experimentation became extremely important for her company and how it is used in the AI projects and what benefits it offers. Agata?
Hello, do you hear me?
Hi Agata, hi and welcome. How are you feeling today?
I'm very energetic today.
Where are you joining us from today?
Poland, from Poland.
From Poland. How's the weather in Poland?
It's terrible today, honestly.
But you are shining, and that's what's important. I want to know, do we have any participants here from Poland? Say hi in our chat. And if you have any question to Agata during any moment of her presentation, feel free to write us in the chat, stating her name so I know that I will need to ask her. And whenever something that resonates with Agata, what she's sharing, or you also have experienced something like that, say us in the chat. And I am super excited to welcome you, Agata, on this stage. The stage is yours. You have a little bit more time, so I suggest you can take the time you prepared for the presentation, and we will have some more time for questions. Does that sound good?
Yes, of course.
Awesome. Please enjoy, and we will notify also the participants that your session started a little bit earlier so they can tune in.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Anna.
Thank you.
Let me try to share my screen. There it is. Okay. Just a check. It's working. Okay. Very nice. So, hello everyone. Thank you for having me here today, and huge congratulations to our organizers for, despite difficult circumstances, they made this amazing event happen today. As we all know, communication and networking is quite difficult these days. This is why I would like to shortly introduce myself. So my name is Agata Fraszczak. I am working in OLX Group, and I am currently a product manager in the data services team. And the data services team is not only responsible itself for data services, but also for data infrastructure and data management in every business that is part of OLX Group. Although I am right now a product manager, I used to be a product analyst and a monetization analyst before, so I have some analytical background as well. And this is why I am a huge experimentation lover and a fan of data-driven approach. And today, I would like... I'm sorry, I guess. Okay, and today I would like to share with you some knowledge regarding some experience that I have about these two areas of my knowledge. So you may wonder what actually stands behind this mysterious word called experimentation. So in OLX, we use it as a substitute for a word A/B testing. And the concept of A/B testing is that we have one group of users with unchanged version of the product, and the other group of users that has a changed version of the product. We compare the user behavior between these two groups, and we make a decision which version of the product is working better for our users. And before I joined the company, or even before that, even before 2017, the approach towards A/B testing was that we have this one Python script that was having some basic statistics and was calculating or analyzing the data from experiments. However, every single team was responsible for assigning users and splitting them between two groups on their own. So as you can imagine, it happened quite often that not every team had similar approach, and unfortunately, not every team had a proper approach. So the company made a decision to build an internal solution. In 2018, we created a proof of concept that was very basic, but it already had main functionalities as splitting and assignment, and also a statistical approach towards analysis. So it turned out to be a success. And in 2019, I was honored to join the team as a product manager and build a full working solution that we are currently used on daily basis. It's quite advanced. It has main functionalities still, but the statistical engine grew significantly. However, my team is not only responsible for building the tool itself, but also we are focused very much on expanding the culture, on sharing knowledge, on giving trainings, and engaging and motivating our users to use experimentation on daily basis by showing them what benefits it's actually bringing. So at the beginning of 2019, when I joined the team, we had 17 teams that were barely starting with experimentation. Right now, we already have 28 product teams that are running experiments on daily basis, but also we have at least 4 data science projects that are also using experimentation on daily basis. Usually when I talk about it, I am asked, like, why did you build an internal solution if we have so many other solutions available on the market? And there are 3 main reasons for that. The first one is the fact that we have one unified solution for every single type of an experiment. So it doesn't matter if the team wants to run a backend experiment, front-end experiment in apps or in web or desktop, they can use this one tool to do it. Secondly, we have one approach as a whole company towards performing A/B testing, but also analyzing A/B testing. With that, we are able to compare results from different experiments between each other because we have reliable data and reliable output. And my favorite reason is the fact that we can combine experimentation data with all kinds of available data that we have in OLX, which makes our analysis more sophisticated and we learn about our users more and more. The other question that I am also asked quite often is, why do you trust so much in experimentation? Why are you, such a fan of this approach? And honestly, I could talk and talk about it for an hour, but I wanted to show you 4 main benefits that I believe are the biggest one. The first one is the fact that experimentation always gives you some learning opportunity. Even if your experiment is not a successful one, still you will learn that maybe there's some other area that you could improve, or maybe your team should change direction to the other part of the business. The second huge benefit is the fact that it simplifies the data. When I used to be a product analyst, I was asked this question, how this feature impacted our users? And without A/B testing, you have to take into consideration at least seasonality, time of the year, time of the day, maybe some marketing changes, and so on. With experimentation, you have 2 groups of users with similar distribution of users. And if one group has a feature, you can identify if it's impacting them or not. Experimentation also is one of the approaches that can be used to validate quickly an idea. So instead of building full working solution, you can use experimentation to quickly validate if this idea is a valid one, and you should follow it, or maybe you should change the direction. And last, but definitely not least, it helps to iterate fast over your product or your project. You do small steps, after each step you learn something, and then ultimately you can achieve your goal. And today I wanted to focus on the last 2 benefits, and let me please start with quick ideas validation. And regarding quick ideas validation, I've heard many times, especially from product managers, but what is surprising, maybe not surprising, but what is energetic is the fact that I hear it more often from our data scientists and machine learning engineers, that before investing our hard time and resources in building a full working product or a machine learning project, we should firstly validate the idea if it indeed brings value to our users and ultimately to our business. And one of the approaches, as I said before, can be to validate this idea can be actually experimentation. And as I promised, I wanted to show you some examples from AI, from our AI in OLX. So let me show you an example of the data science project that was using experimentation to validate an idea. And the project was called price evaluation. The price evaluation is a functionality that displays to our buyers and sellers the visual indicator in what price range, below, above, or average, the car is in. And behind the decision about this price range, there's standing a machine learning model that, based on data, is making a decision predicting and showing and giving the output. I know that not everyone is familiar with OLX, so let me show you how this indicator looks like so you can visualize it better. So as you can see, there is this small indicator next to the price. And if the dark triangle is on the left, it means that the price of the car is below the average. If it's in the middle, it means that the price of this car is on average. And if the dark triangle is on the right, it means that this seller actually wants more money than the average seller for the similar car. And the goal for this project was to firstly help our buyers to easily evaluate cars' prices. You know, if we are private buyers and if we buy a car every 10 years, we are not sure if the seller wants, if the price that seller wants is the correct ones. On the other hand, we also wanted to help our sellers to optimize selling prices. So on the other hand, if we are selling car every 10 years, we are not sure if the price that we want is the proper one. So it's also helping us. And the third goal was this is a one step towards true value prices for C2B actions, meaning at one point we would like to tell our sellers the proper price for their car based on the data that we have. And the team identified a few risks regarding this solution, this project. The first one regarding UX was the fact that they were not sure if buyers will identify the value of the solution. The second risk was that they were slightly afraid that they will not have reliable model output that can be quickly explained and improved based on the feedback. And regarding user behavior, they were able to estimate more or less, but they weren't sure how this new functionality will impact our buyers and ultimately our sellers. So with UX, a solution was to run user research at every crucial step. For data, they were doing regular evaluation with the data quality team. And for user behavior, they made a decision to perform an A/B test where one group had a price evaluation functionality and the other one did not. So let me share with you briefly the results from the experiment. In the group with price evaluation functionality, the number of car page views, meaning the number of offers that our users were visiting, significantly dropped. It means that our users were visiting less offers. However, the number of buyers remained the same. So it means that although buyers were visiting less offers, they were actually contacting the sellers in a similar manner. Also, we realized that the risk of the drop of ad liquidity is quite low, which means that we weren't afraid of the performance of the ad itself, meaning the performance of an offer. Sorry, this is a substitute word. Having said that, in the group with price evaluation functionality, buyers were finding the relevant cars faster. They were visiting less offers, but they were contacting the sellers with the same frequency. With that result and other results from research, they made the decision to release this functionality to 100% of our users, as they realized that this idea is actually a good one and they should follow this path forward. The second huge benefit of experimentation is fast iteration. And with fast iteration, I would like to use another example that is coming from a search team that is responsible for our search engine. And the example is search to vec algorithm, which is using to finding synonyms to each query in an automated fashion. The algorithm picks up the meaning of each search by its relationship to others. So what does it mean? It means that if a user is providing some search query, in our example, this is 75243 Lego. We show the results that are the correct ones, but then the search to web algorithm is providing some similar items based on the probability of based on similarity between them, and is showing, and we are displaying them below the proper items. The goal for that was to help our users to find what they are looking for. We also wanted to remove pages with no result. That was mainly connected with the user experience. So, if we are looking for something and there are no results, like we don't perceive it as a good experience. So we want just to remove them as much as possible. But also we wanted to expand a search query when there are no enough outcome items. And two main parameters that were used for this model was threshold and a train set. So threshold is the probability that two items are similar to each other. So low threshold means that there is a low probability, while high threshold, it means that there is a high probability. The training set is the amount of data that we use for training our model. And as we know, it doesn't mean, like, even if we take more data for training, it doesn't mean that we will have a better model. So with that, the team was struggling with finding the best combination of these and obviously other parameters. So they made a decision to iterate using A/B testing. And every single iteration looked exactly the same. In the phase one, they were defining an experiment with different combinations of parameters. Then they were performing the experiment. In the next phase, they were analyzing the differences between groups, and then they were making a decision about next step. And as a first version of an experiment, they ran an experiment with random combination of parameters, and they validated if the idea is actually the correct one. So they did exactly what price evaluation project did. It turned out to be a success, so they made a decision to iterate over two main parameters. So they ran an experiment with different combination of threshold and training set. And it turned out after another experiment that low threshold and 3 months of training set is working the best for their model. And right now they are iterating over other parameters. What is very important here, what I would like to mention, is the fact that search team doesn't have only this one algorithm, but is actually having more algorithms. And with every single one, they have similar approach. They use experimentation to validate an idea and then to iterate over parameters. To summarize, what I would like you to take out from my quick talk. Firstly, each new product, project, or idea should be validated against the possible impact on the user behavior and as a result on the business. Obviously, if you are doing a project for yourself, maybe you don't have to do it. But if you are doing that for your business, well, the ultimate goal is to grow, to expand the business, and to help our users to overcome problems. So always validate if what you want to build will actually help your users. The second learning is that uncertainty around the most effective model parameters and their impact on users can be quickly validated via experimentation. It doesn't mean that you always have to use experimentation for that. However, as in the search team, we have many examples that are proving that experimentation is working very well with finding the best set of parameters. And finally, please remember, if you want to achieve a success, not only with machine learning projects, but in general, it always requires to combine different areas of knowledge: data, infrastructure, research, A/B testing, statistics, and communication. Only when you combine all these areas of knowledge, you will be able to ultimately reach your success. Thank you, everyone. I don't know if there are any questions, but let me maybe stop sharing so Anna can help me figure that out.
Welcome back, Agata. Thank you very much. I wanted to ask you which of the three learnings was the hardest for you? Like which one did you learn hard that you're like, okay, this is like a very, very important lesson that I had to learn hard, that you shared with audience today? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Let's wait for Anna a moment.
No.
And let's see. No. Oh. Yes, okay. It's okay. I don't hear you, Anna. Maybe. Oh, that's sad. It's always so technology, you know. It's not the easiest part of our life. Mm, should I open? Let me just make. Okay, and I guess you can hear me. Is that correct? Okay. Okay, so I saw this because I joined the other session, so at least I can maybe answer some questions that I saw on the slide, on the chat, sorry. And there was this one question that is how machine learning works in business analytics. This is a very good question. And actually the price evaluation project that I described was prepared together with business analytics. So there are data scientists that are devoted for machine learning itself, that are responsible for models. However, like business analysts and product analysts work together with preparing experiments, defining the data, also analyzing the historical data, and based on that, making a decision where we should.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Anna.
Sorry about that. I had some technical issues, and yeah, sorry for leaving you like that. I was back when you said like 3 learnings, and I was like asking you questions. So what was your main learning? And you couldn't hear me, and that was sad. So yeah, and big people have been writing in the chat. But when you are just, plunged into the presentation mode and you're there with the audience, people listen to you, and then like, okay, there's a chat, there's a live chat, and like it's hard to refocus. Yes, I saw that you took the initiative and started to answer questions. Please Obviously. Go ahead. I just wanted to say hi, that I'm here with you.
Yeah, I just read one question and I guess I answered that. So if you saw any other questions, I would appreciate if you could help me with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I was asking you, you shared these 3 amazing learnings. So which one was hard for you to learn? Like you say, wow, this I had to learn really hard. Like it took me years to understand, some time to understand that.
So I guess like each and every single learning regarding experimentation is quite important for me. But when I was the biggest, maybe not learning, but the biggest challenge is actually start applying experimentation. Start believing that this approach will give you the benefits and ultimately you will reach the goal. Because as like in general, there's 1 every 10 experiments that is giving some successful results. So you have to get used to the fact that not every experiment will bring you the result that you expect, and it's fine. It's a learning. So this is like the main thing that people should remember that it's okay to fail until you learn, because then ultimately after 10th experiment, it's going to be fine. You will find the solution.
Yeah, it's no one became an expert without failing. Like how can you have it even figured out at first? You need to try and to make errors, to make mistakes. Yeah.
Correct.
People asking if you have a GitHub, and yeah, probably I guess you do.
I do.
So if you could share maybe in the chat with the audience.
Yes.
And a question from Chaitali: how advanced algorithms used in machine learning are used in machine learning?
So it depends on the project, honestly. For this price evaluation project, there was used in the regression, I guess. So it wasn't like very advanced, at least for the first step. But in search algorithms, I mean, in the search team, they're using quite advanced algorithm. And the one that I was describing was based on word-to-vec technique. But if you want to, if you would like to know more, I can also provide you some presentation from my data scientist friends that they also had some talks on, and I know that they have them on LinkedIn, so I can share you the links in the chat, so then you can take a look what it was.
Perfect. Here is a question. How does your company's approach changes in terms of customers' needs during and after this pandemic?
Oh, that's a very good question. So actually, looking at the product itself, like we were still going on, or we were still moving on with the stuff that we wanted to build. However, quickly we, as a classified, we identified that our buyers and sellers, they need they have other needs right now. They don't want to contact face-to-face because of the pandemic. So we started working around the solution that can help our buyers and sellers, sell and buy items, not seeing each other face-to-face. This is an ongoing project. So hopefully that's gonna happen soon, but this is how we adjusted towards our customers, basically. One of the approaches that we used.
Yeah, that's great. I like that. Actually, everyone who is watching us, you can also go later after Agata's talk and after we finish with Agata, and go to the expo area and check out the OilX group booth and talk directly to the fellow engineers, product managers, other specialists, hiring specialists, and figure out and ask your questions that you have in mind, and how it's like to work at the company. What is the culture like? What do you love about the working at the company?
So I love everything.
Yeah, once you find, your gang, your team, your tribe, you feel like, hey, well, that's and then every day you go for work with a happy smile, or just join virtually. Like right now we have this situation. So
with Alex, maybe just one comment. That's what you said. Is the fact that I was actually empowered by my managers, by my friends, by other analysts to do the things that I wanted to do. So when I believed in experimentation at the very beginning, they led me to actually lead this. Although I was a junior, I was just learning, but they allowed me to do it because they saw that I really, really believe in that. And this is how I perceive a culture in OLX. Like, if you really believe in something and you want to do it, like, people will help you around.
I like that. I like that people, like for your colleagues, are putting forward you and other employees and helping them grow professional. I think that's one of the most important things. So you don't feel like you are undervalued, or that you're stuck and you're not growing, that you're not given a challenge in work, some more complex projects to work on, or to speak at the conference like what you're doing right now. That is super cool. Let's take one more question from the audience. So here, different questions. How do you evaluate your knowledge domain about problem statements, algorithms, and perimeters tuning with current advancement? Do you get to approach people already doing great in it?
So as a product manager of experimentation in general, like personally, I don't reach out to our teams because they are responsible for running experiments. What I do is I provide the platform and the knowledge regarding experimentation, but they are the ones who are making a decision about like what projects, what they want to do. But what we do to evaluate, to find the problems or evaluate the parameters in the models and stuff, we usually use a lot of UX research and user research. We have a team dedicated to that. So they are also helping us to figure out where are the problems lay, what we can potentially help. We also have many business analysts and product analysts who are also giving some value after their analysis. They can tell you, oh, there is this opportunity that we should focus on. Maybe we should help these users, and so on and so forth. So basically, we always start with some research, like data research, as I said, like data-driven totally. And then we can make a decision, like if we should approach it with AI, because sometimes we can, but in some projects, there's no point of using AI as well. So it depends in general.
Yeah, it depends, right? Thank you very much, Agata. And will people be able to continue and say hi to you at Korea Expo, OLX Group booth? And probably they can see you in the chat, and they can connect with you on LinkedIn, right?
Yes,
absolutely.
I guess LinkedIn is working the best for me. I'm not very familiar with Hopin, honestly, but I can take a look and stay for a while.
Yeah, LinkedIn sounds good. Perfect. Thank you, Agata. Have a great day. Stay with us and talk to you later.
Thank you, Anna. Bye.
Bye-bye.